Stop with the questions. Celebrate.
And then they say, is Donald Trump an intellectual? Trust me, I'm like a smart person. Yosemite's one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Mike Lindell's a conspiracy.
Well, you haven't. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They said nobody gets it in order. It's actually not that easy, but for me it was easy.
Amazing. He can't sit down. He's got a burning in his butthole. He's got a fire. He's got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Big, massive dumps.
Oh, I have a term for that. I call it corporate communism.
Somebody sent me a thing this morning where they're talking about putting the vaccine into salad dressing.
You see, this is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real.
You ain't seen nothing yet until you see the flaming butthole.
Putting us on our knees to China.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
We have to keep our country gay.
Nation. Waldorf Nation. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Friday. We got a fantastic one. A lot of stuff that I want to talk about. We've got some, of course, the usual mix of ghouls and goblins. Right-wingers, always, of course. We have, of course, a ton of stories. I think you're going to love them. These are great. Including the story that I didn't get to on Wednesday about the about a Kansas Republican getting mad over rainbows. Not kidding. Not kidding. They find the most insane, ridiculous things to get mad about. It's great. We also, again, we're going to talk about some one Republican in Tennessee that's a bit, well, he's sorry. He has some apologies. And then we're also going to talk about the hearing involving the Norfolk Southern CEO, Alan Shaw, and how that went. Interesting. So got a little bit of that. Fun. So we'll start out, though, with Jenna Ellis. That's a great story. It appears, there's some consequences. Who knew? All right. If you haven't already, please like and share the stream. More important that you do so. All right. Former Trump advisor Jenna Ellis, who was also the recipient of Giuliani's, that's former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani's COVID farts. She has been censured in Colorado. According to the Colorado Newsline, Ellis had to admit that she had made some misrepresentations in her capacity as an attorney while working with Donald Trump to help prove alleged so-called election fraud in the 2020 presidential election. So now, Ellis had been under scrutiny by the Colorado Attorney Regulation Council, and this is Jessica Yates, whose job it is to investigate allegations of lawyer misconduct. And apparently, they had found a lot of lawyer misconduct on the part of Jenna Ellis. Big surprise. So now this started last year when a nonprofit organization alleged that Ellis had violated multiple professional rules and had urged for her to be censured. Well, it appears, obviously, that when you looked at her case, or when they looked at her case, they're like, oh, yeah, definitely unprofessional in her capacity as a lawyer. So now, in an opinion accepting the censure agreement between Yates and Ellis, Ellis agreed that her statements about the election being stolen were misrepresentations, which were made with at least a reckless state of mind. Ellis also agreed that she, through her conduct, undermined the American public's confidence in the presidential election, violating her duty of candor to the public as a result of a selfish motive as part of a pattern of misconduct. So let me go through and give you some examples of said misconduct. Now, Yates's complaint cited about 10 misrepresentations by Ellis. I'm just going to call them what they are. They were lies. Bull-faced lies. So I'm not even going to give you all 10 of them, but just a couple. On November 20th, 2020, Ellis went on Maria Bartiromo's show on Fox Business. I thought they were supposed to talk about business on that show, on that network, on that channel. No, they almost never talk about business. Okay. She goes on there and instead talks about the election and how we've got affidavits, numerous affidavits, witnesses. We have voter intimidation that's happening. Now, again, does voter intimidation happen? Well, yeah, it does. But she's saying, no. It's us. It's the right wing. See, we're the ones being intimidated by the left. Oh, really? Can you give us an example? How? No. But I'm sure it's happening. Trust me, bro. I have a gut feeling. Oh, I don't know if she made that the particular argument, but trust me, it tends to always be about the feelings and never about facts. She also claimed that there were ballots that were manipulated. Now, she also went on Spicer's show, Sean Spicer, yes, good old Spicy, and claimed, referring to Nevada, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Georgia, that all of those states combined, we know that the election was stolen from President Trump, and we can prove it. We can prove it. Oh, okay. Except the fact that you didn't know that and couldn't prove it, which means that it was a lie. Look, of course, people can go on Fox News and they pretty much lie all they want. That's kind of what Fox News is about, where you can go and you can lie in the service, as long as you're doing in the service of helping the Republican Party. That's the whole purpose of Fox News, okay, to help the Republican Party. So that said, if you're a lawyer, you are held to certain standards in that profession. So when you do engage in lies, prevarications, if you will, especially things about, as important as elections, there could be some consequences to your actions. Fairly standard, right? Now, the public censure order was signed on Wednesday by presiding disciplinary judge Byron M. Large, who oversees lawyer discipline cases in Colorado. Okay, so she has been officially censured in Colorado. Fantastic. Because again, there is no excuse for these kinds of lies. Very, very obvious, damaging lies. Now, Yates also put out a statement explaining her actions and why the censure is necessary. She says, the public censure in this matter reinforces that even if engaged in political speech, there is a line attorneys cannot cross. Now, again, this isn't a First Amendment issue, right? Again, she can go out there and she can say whatever she wants, but it is going to have professional consequences. So she says, look, those lines, that line that attorneys cannot cross, I mean, obviously going out and lying about something so brazenly, that is one of those lines. And also, she added that it's particularly bad when they're speaking in a representative capacity. So, my whole thoughts on this is just, I have to say,
My.
if it isn't the consequences of your actions showing up, who knew? Oh, it turns out that you fucked around with the truth, and you found out. Hey, Jenna, hope it was worth it. This bard would have been even better. Well, yeah, but I'll take it. Take what I can get. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go to Sidney Powell, which is just absolutely hilarious. I love this story. One of my favorite parts about the Dominion voting system's defamation lawsuit against Fox News is the fact that they're exposing their hosts as being two-faced liars that lie, of course, for profit, and their audience as being gullible dupes who want to be lied to. Okay, well, now another part that's fun is the fact that they're also taking the opportunity to rub salt in the wound by exposing some of the utter crazy in the right wing. Now, one example that I've talked about before is Sidney Powell and her so-called source. So Sidney Powell, of course, went out and made some insane claims about, election fraud, Dominion voting systems, their voting machines being like, I guess, programmed in Venezuela, weirdo stuff, okay? Not an ounce of truth at all in it.
In Venezuela.
Okay. Now, look, these claims easily debunked. No, she did not use, the Dominion voting system did not use Venezuela or the ghost of Hugo Chavez to steal the election for Biden. That's insanity. Now, that source I had also talked about, claiming that she got that information from the wind. The wind told her.
Wind.
So, the update on this is that source, we have more information about her. And it's insane. Because we got that information from an interview that she had participated in with the Daily Beast. It's great. So now Will Sommer tracked her down and found out she is a Minnesota-based cactus artist. Yes, a cactus artist named Marlene Bourne. Okay. Now, apparently, Bourne, in this interview, believes that she may actually be a ghost. No, I'm not kidding. She claims that she might be a ghost because she was internally decapitated. I don't know what to do with that. I really don't. You were, how does that work? How? I don't know. Okay, but anyway, let me just add. It's not really a segue. It's a good aside, though. This is why we need Medicare for all. We need Medicare for all. We need free mental health care for all Americans, free counseling, and free prescription drugs. I mean, I think that would solve a lot of issues. Really, it would. And that's just aside from nutty people. But okay, who obviously seem to need some health care. Okay, now during the interview, Sommer asked her to elaborate on her claim that the wind tells her that she is a ghost. To which she responded by asking Sommer if he believes in telepathy, mind powers. Mind powers. Bourne says she then receives hidden messages. That's what she thinks. She's got telepathic powers and can receive hidden messages embedded in movies, song lyrics, and even conversations from strangers in the supermarket. You know, getting them hidden messages, talking to somebody in the cheese aisle. Okay. Hey, does she also see Lord Jesus Christ in her toast? I'm curious. Speaking of breakfast, now look, I'm not telepathic, obviously. So I may not be able to perceive hidden telepathic messages about the election in the grocery aisle, but I can't see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. But anyway, Bourne, during one of her, I guess, times where she's really tuned in, honed in on her mental powers, right? Her perception, very heightened. Decided to email Powell one day because she was on a roll. And her purpose for that day was trying to find the truth of election fraud in 2020. Yes, of course. She said, quote, "It's just really interesting where I'll have the TV on and I'll hear a word or a person's name. And for whatever reason I can't explain, I can explain it. It's going to compel me to look it up online. So I'll do a little digging." Now, she does explain the wind thing. Okay. Because I have to admit it, I'm having a little bit too much fun. Wind. She says, instead of saying I rely on my intuition or just gut feeling, I say the wind is talking to me. It's just a fun way of living my life. Don't you think? Oh, okay. So she actually doesn't have the wind literally talking to her. Got it. But basically, she just explained that she gets a feeling. It's all feelings, right? No facts, just feelings that lead her to dig herself into rabbit holes online. Oh, okay. So, of course, she ends up going to these right-wing fever swamps filled with fake news, disinformation, and gets her insight there. When she's not, of course, getting special telepathic messages from the TV. These people. Now, look, I talked about why certain people become conspiracy theorists, right? They want to feel special. Maybe they're in a world that they don't quite understand, or they don't understand certain things. And so they go, well, look, or maybe they just don't fit in, right? And they think, well, I must be special. I must be special because I know the truth. See, I know the reality. You see, only me and a select group of people that I know, we know the real truth. Everybody else is a sheeple. And these sheeple need the wool cut from their eyes, from the front of their eyes. Because, they got to see the truth, right? And we're the only ones that really know the truth. So we're going to bring you the truth. And when we do, the truth shall set us free. Free. And they'll become a hero. You see, that's what it seems to be about. And I understand the appeal of conspiracy theories. Trust me. Everybody wants to be a hero in their own story. And of course, we do know that there are conspiracies out there that do have truth in them. In fact, every good conspiracy starts with a kernel of truth, and some have more truth than others. So not every single one, conspiracy is complete and total bunk. A lot of them are, though. But that said, the ones that are not, they're proven by evidence. Okay? And so you need evidence. In the case of the 2020 election being stolen, there's no evidence to confirm that that is the case. In fact, there's plenty of evidence that proves that it was not stolen and that it was a completely legitimate election. And look, Republicans who would gain most from Donald Trump winning in 2020. Because usually, when a president wins an election, oftentimes his party also tends to do better in said election. And that's not always the case. So, look, a lot of these politicians, Republican politicians, are like, hey, look, we really would like Trump to win, but we just can't find evidence of fraud. We've been looking. Trust me, we've been looking. And short of manufacturing the evidence themselves, they did everything they could. They scoured, and they couldn't find any evidence to prove that Biden did not win this election legitimately. Them's the breaks. Not even the cyber ninjas in Arizona, whose whole purpose was like, we gotta find something. No, couldn't find a damn thing. Now, in addition to her conspiracy theories, getting back to Miss Bourne, she also thinks that the late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia was murdered. Murdered, yes. Apparently, according to her, he was part of a human hunting expedition. What? She claimed that globalist elites at the Bohemian Grove, went and hunted down and murdered Antonin Scalia. She tells Sommer, quote, "What's one way to get rid of a Supreme Court justice in order to get the kind of people you want on it? Hunting." How exactly did that work out? I mean, honestly, like, I keep getting told that the globalist elite are, I mean, there's so many different things that they say that the globalist elite are. We got a majority a conservative Supreme Court, the most pro-corporate court, I believe, in history. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but they're incredibly pro-corporate. Majority conservative. What makes you think that this is not what the right wing wants? I mean, Donald Trump got a whole bunch of picks, and so those picks were all confirmed. He got 3 Supreme Court justices. That seemed to have worked out very well in his favor. Nonsense. Look, this is the person who claims, whose claims Sidney Powell took at face value. Face value. And then Powell went and spread those very claims not only on Fox News, but also in that hilarious press conference. And that's claims that people on Fox News, by the way, did not believe whatsoever. Let me go to Tucker Carlson here. In text messages between November 16th and 19th, Tucker Carlson had written, "The whole thing seems insane to me, and Sidney Powell won't release the evidence." Well, again, now we know that Sidney Powell didn't have any evidence because her evidence came from a woman who thinks that she gets telepathic messages from the TV.
Wind.
Some evidence, right? Yeah. Now, Laura Ingraham, another person that was in this all thanks to Dominion filings, said this: Sidney Powell's a bit nuts. Sorry, but she is. No. Laura Ingraham. First time I've ever agreed with Laura Ingraham. Yes, she's nuts. Carlson then responds, "She's making everyone paranoid and crazy, including me." By the way, on November 17th, 2020, Carlson also wrote to an unnamed contact, quote, "Sidney Powell is lying. Effing bitch." Ooh, spicy. And that same day, on the 17th, the newly released text showed Carlson relaying directly with Powell, challenging her as she claims that more evidence is pouring in, which it wasn't. You keep telling your viewers that millions of votes were changed by the software. I hope you can prove that very soon. You've convinced them that Trump will win. If you don't have conclusive evidence of fraud at that scale, it's a cruel and reckless thing to keep saying. And he would know about being cruel and reckless. And besides of those two things, it's also incredibly profitable. And because people like Bourne, who gravitate towards conspiracy theories, well, the more you spread conspiracy theories on, for example, Fox News, Tucker Carlson show, well, the more people like that tune in. And the more advertising dollars you get. And so look, the right wing is filled with people who believe in conspiracy theories. It's not a coincidence. Their media constantly puts out new conspiracy theories every day. I mean, and look, the reason that they do that is because they don't have anything else. They don't have policy that's popular with the American people. Because they never back policy that's popular with the American people, because it wouldn't be popular with their donors. And so they have to rely on, of course, grievance politics, specifically white grievance, fear, and, fear of immigrants, fear of LGBTQ people, fear of change, fear of basically everything, bigotry, and then conspiracy theories. And there you go. Moving on. Let's go to the one Trump story that we have. Former President Donald Trump is enraged after reports came out that he may actually face criminal charges in the Stormy Daniels hush money case. So, look, I'm just going to approach this story with a little bit of skepticism. Not in the idea that he didn't actually pay hush money. He did, and Michael Cohen went to prison for it, but the fact that he would be held accountable for it. With that said, let's get to the details. Reports emerged Thursday that Trump had been asked to appear before a Manhattan grand jury that is considering charging him for his role in the hush money payment made to Stephanie Clifford, also known as Stormy Daniels, through former fixer Michael Cohen. Taken to Truth Social, Trump called this a political witch hunt, the weaponization of our judicial system, the usual rantings and ravings of a lunatic. He also then, of course, went after Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, calling him like a left-wing radical, again, the same things, saying pretty disparaging things about Daniels' appearance. Funny that he would do such a thing. And then also saying that he had won lawsuits for hundreds of thousands of dollars against Daniels. Now, is that the case? Well, yeah, that's a reference to her failed libel suit in which she was charged to pay, I believe, $300,000 in his fees for, again, that case. Now, this was over a tweet suggesting that she had lied when she said she faced intimidation to keep quiet about the alleged affair she had with Trump in 2006. That's where we get, of course, the horrible details about Donald Trump's manhood that we really didn't want to hear about.
Tallywhacker.
But anyway, okay. So now here's the thing, though. Why would you bring this up as a comparison? Libel and defamation, those lawsuits have a very high bar. You would have to prove that they would lie. And this is, again, Daniels had to prove that Trump had lied about this with malicious intent. However, that tweet was ruled to be nothing more than his opinion. So it's a bit different than what was going on here. In this case, prosecutors are likely to argue that the Trump organization effectively made an illegal donation to Trump's campaign when it reimbursed Michael Cohen for the hush money payment he had given to Stormy Daniels. So in this case, we are not dealing with an opinion. We are dealing with an unauthorized payment, an illegal payment. So illegal that Michael Cohen, as I mentioned before, went to prison for it. Donald Trump, of course, his co-conspirator, did not. Now, that said, for all of you thinking that, yes, finally, lock him up, I wouldn't celebrate yet. Remember, these potential charges have not been filed yet. He hasn't been indicted. And the person leading this is Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, who had previously, backed away from a case in which two former lawyers, prosecutors in New York, in the Manhattan DA office, said, we have the organization dead to rights. Bragg dropped the case. So I don't have a lot of faith here, okay? And that said, Trump seems to have a knack for getting away with a lot of things that most people would not. So understand my cautiousness about this, okay? Now, I know there are other investigations in Fulton County, for example, that's in Georgia. Fani Willis is a prosecutor probing his role in seeking to overturn his loss in that state during the 2020 election. The famous call where he was asking for just one more vote than what he needs to win the state. Find me more votes. He's also being probed by the Department of Justice. And of course, there's a $250 million lawsuit against the organization, him, and his children by New York District Attorney Letitia James, which is, of course, a civil suit. Now, in this case, this is a criminal trial, or would be a criminal trial, in relation to this illegal hush money payment. But again, I'm going to be very, very cautious about this because, look, there's a ton of ways that Trump uses to try to weasel his way out of power. And there are people out there that are helping him. Let me go to Georgia, for example. So Fani Willis is doing this investigation, and you look at that. Republicans are looking to pass a law that would create a commission to remove prosecutors. They could just vote to remove prosecutors that are elected. Seems like a bit of a direct response there. And as I mentioned Bragg before, and Merrick Garland, I don't have a lot of faith in Merrick Garland because he seems rather weak. A little weak to take on Trump. And I think there's a lot of officials that are afraid of taking on Donald Trump, whether it because he's got so much backing among the Republican base, or it just is very good at somehow manipulating the legal system in order to get out of things. I don't know. So with that, I just don't have a lot of faith that Donald Trump will end up facing criminal consequences. My whole approach to it is basically, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. 11,780 and 791. So that's one more than what I need. Yes, they're getting death threats for charging Donald Trump with any crimes. Exactly what's happening. Okay. So let's see. Are we going to do the rainbow story next? Yes. Rainbows. Raging rainbows. Okay. All right. A Republican lawmaker in Kansas is melting down over a picture drawn by a fourth grader involving a rainbow. Yes, Kansas GOP Representative Pat Proctor recently found this rainbow, flag picture very, very offensive and decided to take this student's drawing and use it to accuse Kansas educators of indoctrination. So let me, show you this here. It says, my school library is for every student, and it's an LGBTQ flag. Okay, I mean, to me, that seems rather harmless and actually nice and inclusive. Everybody's welcome. Yay. Everybody's welcome. Every student's welcome at the library. Well, I think that's a wonderful message. But then, I'm also a normal person who is not filled with rage over ridiculous things. In this case, Proctor, according to the Kansas Reflector, took this drawing and published it in his newsletter. But not as, oh, look at this wonderful, inclusive drawing. No. He says that he was trying to alert the community about the drawing and about how dangerous it is because it promotes the gay agenda. Oh, okay. Now, Proctor had said, I find it impossible to believe that an entire grade of third graders and fourth graders all on their own decided to draw rainbow flags and talk about the LGBTQ and spell those things out in their artwork. I find it impossible to believe that this was not the assignment and that they were not coached to do that by that teacher. That's just implausible to the extreme. Well, I seem to find it implausible that Proctor might not have doesn't have a secret Grindr account. I'm not saying that he does. I'm just saying that most people are not triggered by rainbow flags unless there's something about themselves that maybe they're not so comfortable with. Hey, it's 2023. It's okay to be gay. It's okay. It's always been okay. But, all right, anyway, that aside, the drawings were done on sheets of paper, again, that had the word, my school library is for every student. Other drawings on the wall included stick figures, cats, always nice, Japanese flag, yeah, okay, and what appeared to be a depiction of a biracial friendship. Wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, artwork, great. Now, parents said that the children were allowed to draw whatever they wanted. And so, yeah, if some students said, hey, look, yes, we know LGBTQ is a thing. They're welcome. There's no problem. Chances are they probably know a student or a parent who is LGBTQ. It's more well known today. So chances are, yes, you probably do know someone who is open about it. And that's fine. That's not harming anybody. And it sounds like, these kids are pretty based. Now, Brandy Bond, a library aide at the school, said that these complaints are a fairly new issue and only begun hearing complaints about book displays and drawings this school year. Now, coincidentally, that happened to, start after a very right-wing person got elected to the school board. We'll get to the details there. But Bond says, quote, politics don't belong in elementary schools. Our kids deserve to be protected. Okay. Now, look, there are gay, there's a gay couple that goes to that school. Now, Proctor said that 2 entire classes produced artwork with pride flags and text about LGBTQ people. It is highly unlikely that that was influenced by 2 gay parents. What? Why not? it is much more likely that they were coached or instructed to do that by the librarian. Oh, yes, because this is what happens, right? Librarian's like, you must draw gay stuff. No, that needs to be more gay. No, that's not what's going on. Okay? No, this is ridiculous. In his newsletter, Proctor also said that the outcome was the result of, get this, a radical woke agenda.
The wokers.
Ah, they're at it again. The wokes. Ah, it's those damn wokes. They're making kids draw flags and that are welcoming of other people. How dare they? How dare they?
Woke mob.
I'm so tired of it. Now, it's funny because he was asked about the agenda, right? So okay, what exactly is, Mr. Proctor, the radical woke agenda? What's the radical woke agenda? He declined to discuss it and said, no, I don't want to define the agenda, nor do I really want to discuss it. Really? You seem you seem to want to talk about it a lot unless you're actually asked what that means. Look, they don't know what it means. They don't know what it means. That's the whole point. It's just a buzzword. Look, either he doesn't know what it means or knows that if he is honest about basically hatred and bigotry that he feels in his heart towards these people, it could get him in trouble. Get him some pushback. And you know how that goes.
Can't let that happen.
By the way, that gay couple that I mentioned earlier that have students in the school system, this is Kristen Nussbaum and her partner Tegan Andrews. They have several children in the Leavenworth school system in that area, and they've been feuding with Proctor, as well as another Board of Education member who is also fighting the radical woke agenda, whatever that is. Yeah, okay. Nussbaum said that Reed, which is the new Board of Education member, along with Proctor, has went on Facebook and has basically used bullying tactics to manufacture outrage against local schools and libraries, which, so this wasn't an issue until recently, and then this lady gets on the school board and uses Facebook, her position, to post on Facebook to manufacture outrage. Oh, weird. Huh. So it's almost as if, again, this is a so-called crisis that was just created for no reason. Look, this is what it all comes down to, okay? They manufacture outrage for the ridiculous culture wars and create, I guess, solutions to things that aren't actually problems. As always, it's not actually about fighting against indoctrination. No, it's to try to push their own indoctrination, which is to fight against anything that advances culture, progresses culture to be more inclusive. And the only reason that you would fight against more inclusion is because you want to exclude people. Yeah. Okay. By popular request, we're going to get into the Tennessee Lieutenant Governor. Nope. Okay. Fun. Republican Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally wants you to know that he is very sorry. That he is really, really sorry. About what? Well, I guess let's get into it, okay? Now, Randy McNally, which again is Randy McNally. I cannot believe that's real name. Makes me think of Rand McNally, which was on the Globes in school growing up. Amazing. Okay, but anyway, the 79-year-old Republican politician, who is one of the head Republicans in the Tennessee legislature and is a big opponent of the gay agenda. Oh, interesting. Now, in fact, he has used his position to help the Tennessee legislature pass bans on things like gender-affirming healthcare and drag performances. Now, that's in public. That's in his personal, or I'm sorry, his career. But in his private time, he seems to enjoy some gay thirst traps, to which I say, I actually don't care. You want to go and enjoy gay thirst traps? Thirst it up, buddy. I should say, you know what? Drink up. Drink it all up. Have fun. That's what life's about. But let me give you the details, okay? According to the Tennessee Holler, McNally was rather fond of a 20-year-old aspiring gay performer named Franklin McClure. They were friends on Instagram. So now McNally would regularly leave heart emojis and compliments and, some positivity on some of the more risque photos from McClure. I don't see anything particularly wrong with that. The Tennessee Republican, responding to a post that showed McClure scantily clad, posted, "You can turn a rainy day into rainbows and sunshine."
We have to keep our country gay.
You know what? Again, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. That's actually really nice. Wonderful. But look, again, aside from the weird age difference, 79 and 20, it's not like they're dating or anything. He's just a fan. I don't have an issue. I don't really care. Okay? This is not controversial. Do you, Randy? Do you? Now, McClure was asked by the Tennessee Holler, who broke the story, said, look, he's never met the lieutenant governor, but they've been online friends since 2020. And again, it's a very positive person. Or as I should say, he's reacted very positively to McClure's photos and posts. And in a series of Instagram direct messages, McClure told the Daily Beast that he thinks McNally follows him because he enjoys who I am. I do you, man. And added, I hope he can extend that kindness by trying to make sure no bills are passed to hurt anyone like me. Well, I can agree with that. But therein lies the issue. And I say that because right now, the Republican Party, not just in Tennessee, but all over the country, has been cracking down on the LGBTQ community. Now, right now, they've been focusing on banning gender-affirming care, drag performances, and, trans women in sports. They, eventually, once they're done with all that, they are going to come for the gay people. Randy McNally, you should know that. You have to know that. I mean, it's always on the agenda. So now on Thursday, McNally, as a result of the piece, put out an apology. I'm going to read that apology. He said, I'm really, really sorry if I've embarrassed my family, embarrassed my friends, embarrassed any of the members of the legislature with the posts. It was not my intent, and not my intent to hurt them. Randy, that's not the problem. Liking risque social media posts that are obviously very thirst-trapped is fine. You shouldn't be apologizing for that. If you're gay, who cares? Do you live your life? I don't care. We shouldn't care. Now, McNally was then asked, hey, when people see these posts, what should they take away? He responded to Channel 5 News saying, well, I don't know that they should take away a whole lot. Well, I mean, what's to take away, right? You obviously seem to enjoy these posts. What's the problem? When asked if it was appropriate for him to be liking some of the more risque posts, he replied, probably not. Probably not. No, it's fine. It's fine. Like what you want. Do what you want. I mean, as long as you're not using like the official government account to like these, again, rather risque images, it's fine. Again, as long as you're not hurting other people. But again, the issue here is what he's doing, what the Republican Party is doing, he's hurting people. And this is why I actually hate his apology. He's only sorry because he got caught up in hypocrisy and embarrassed himself and the people around him. He really should be apologizing for the attacks against the LGBTQ community, which he's been a part of, which is hurting people. Currently hurting people. Oh, he was using the official account. Well, again, not good. Not good at all. Keep it to your private. Other than that, not a problem. Look, transgender people are being harmed with laws passed with the goal of erasing them from existence. That's already bad enough. And now, and afterwards, we know that gay people are going to be next. This is what happens with the far right. You ever wonder why the fact that, there are less people that are gay that identify as Republican? I mean, it should be pretty obvious it's the bigotry. And the ones who are openly gay and Republican are generally used as shields. And are, out there either deflecting criticism of the Republican Party for their anti-LGBTQ stances and attacks, or are actively, for example, people like Dave Rubin, are going after the LGBTQ community for money. And that's all it is. It's a payday. And it's shameless. That's it. I am pretty sure that there are a lot of people, there are a lot of Republicans who are gay, but are not out. Yeah, of course. Gay people like tax cuts and deregulation. But see, the reason that they don't come out or are not able to come out is because of this. They consider it embarrassing and shameful to be who and what they are. And until that changes, the right wing will never, ever truly accept gay people. And will always eventually come for them. So, Randy, if that's who you are, I mean, you really can't be, at this point in time, a Republican and be for LGBTQ rights. I know there are gay Republicans, but at the same time, they're usually used as either a way to attack other LGBTQ people or to defend Republicans. And so there it is. Yeah, pawns. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now, this is going to be a real quick story, I think. In what is a case of an accusation secretly being a confession, a former Maryland school librarian has been arrested for possessing explicit images of children. Now, Charles Sutherland of Tacoma Park, Maryland, was arrested last month on 6 misdemeanor counts of possessing child sexually explicit images of children. So now he's arrested, which means one less pedo out in the world, and that's good. Now, the irony here about this case is how exactly he got caught. Now, it turns out Mr. Sutherland had a bit of an issue with libraries hosting Pride Week. Now, the 31-year-old Sutherland had actually been arrested in June after being caught on video spray painting anti-LGBTQ slurs on entrances to public libraries in New Carrollton and Greenbelt. Oh. Oops. So, again, that led to his arrest. And then, of course, a search of his home. And they found some rather disturbing things. So, now, he was a librarian who was also a pedo, who thought, no. It's not me. It's the LGBTQ. Those are the real groomers, and I have to fight against that. Real? No. What? I wonder where you might have heard that. Perhaps he is a fan of Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, of course, is a known pedophile defender because he has defended Josh Duggar. So now, as I mentioned, after his arrest for the vandalism charges, police searched his home, and so he said, "Oh yeah, no, you can go search my house. There's nothing weird there, except that there was absolutely a lot of weird stuff there." And then, of course, after he admitted that he had images of child sexual abuse on his hard drive, officers also found dolls, including a child-sized doll in his bed. And now they also found children's diapers in that apartment, although he has told police that he has no children, nieces, or nephews. So why would he have those? That seems very, again, weird. I'm certainly glad that he has no children around him, or had no children around him, because those children would have been in danger. Actual danger. But it gets back to the point of what I say in a lot of these cases. Projection. The more someone seems to be obsessed with calling other people groomers, with no evidence, right? Or obsessed with, I don't know, the genitals of children, trans children, the more likely that they're an actual groomer, or might be an actual groomer, and might be projecting onto other people what they would secretly like to do with children. So, yeah. Now, thankfully, he's off the street. So let's go to Norfolk Southern. Very important story. On Thursday, Alan Shaw, CEO of embattled rail company Norfolk Southern, went before Congress, and well, it didn't exactly go well for him. There was a lot of lies, a lot of dodging. We'll get to that. So now it started out with remarks prepared for the Senate Committee on Environment and Public Works, with Shaw apologizing. That apology, of course, will end up being quite empty, as you'll see. He said, "I'm deeply sorry for the impact this derailment has had on the people of East Palestine and surrounding communities, and I am determined to make it right." Well, how are you determined to make it right when you don't plan on doing anything? As Common Dreams and More Perfect Union noted, Shaw refused to commit to providing workers with paid sick leave, all workers, ending the stock buyback program until safety measures are put into place, and ending the precision scheduled railroading, which has been blamed for many of the issues, short staffing, leading to the 1,500 plus derailments seen each year in the country. Now, an example of him, of Shaw, dodging questions is when Senator Bernie Sanders grilled him about paid leave.
Will you make that commitment right now to guarantee paid sick days to all of your workers? That's not a radical demand. It really is not. Will you make that commitment, sir?
Senator, I share your focus on our employees. I will commit to continuing to discuss with them important quality of life issues with our local craft colleagues.
In all due respect, you sound like a politician here, Mr. Shaw.
It's not wrong. Oh, we'll be continuing to discuss these nuts. Okay? No, this guy's obviously not going to do a goddamn thing. He has no interest in ensuring paid leave to all of his employees. No, he's going to ensure that he makes as much money as possible. Safety be damned. Look, so now Sanders noted that, oh, well, while you had allowed some paid leave for about 3,000 employees, and that's fine, that's good. Everyone deserves paid leave, and he had said that. And by the way, when you look at, 3,000 out of 15,000 employees getting paid leave, that's only about a fifth of your workforce. Hey, look, again, good for them, right? Everybody deserves paid leave. They deserve paid leave. I'm not knocking that part at all. That's good. But as Sanders noted, everyone deserves paid leave, and it's not like they can't afford to do so. Norfolk Southern recently did around $10 billion worth of stock buybacks in order to reward investors instead of reinvesting in their workforce in the form of higher wages, more employees, and improved safety measures. Or I should say better benefits. They did raise wages, but again, they have such a small workforce that I don't think it makes that much of a difference when these people still aren't able to get any time off at all when they're sick. Now, going to the stock buybacks here, we're going to go to another senator, Senator Jeff Merkley, who asked, hey, okay, look, are you going to stop the stock buybacks, at least for now, until you've made sure the rails are a bit safer? Well, here was the answer.
Will you pledge today that you will do no more stock buybacks until a raft of safety measures have been completed to reduce the risk of derailments and crashes in the future?
Senator, I will commit to continuing to invest in safety. We invest over $1 billion a year in safety.
You noted that you have a list of safety things you'd like to implement. Will you commit no more stock buybacks until those safety improvements are completed?
Senator, I will commit to continuing to invest in safety.
I will commit to investing in continuing to invest in safety. Now, he said, oh, yeah, $1 billion in safety, right? Versus $10 billion in stock buybacks over the last few years. So, wait, now, on the $1 billion in safety investment, right? Well, is there a time frame on that? Did he give a time frame when that money was spent? And on what? No, he didn't give any details. Nope. We do have a time frame on some of these stock buybacks. According to More Perfect Union, payouts to Norfolk Southern shareholders surged by more than 4,500% over the past 20 years. From the $101 million in stock repurchases back then, and dividend bumps in 2002 to $4.7 billion in 2022. So now, again, if they had spent $1 billion over the last 20 years, while giving, again, billions of dollars in stock buybacks and dividends to shareholders, well, that doesn't really amount to much, does it? It's probably, in my guess, as to why they didn't really get into that detail. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I have one more video here. And this is, again, we've seen Shaw kind of like dancing around, the answers and just giving some non-answers. Now we're just going to have Shaw just straight up lying about their record on rail safety.
And you've seen over time the number of derailments, hazardous material releases, and personal injuries has declined. There's always more that we will do, and I am committed to having the best safety culture in the industry.
You're coming here with 3 derailments within 3 months, and the average in the industry is 1 per month for the entire industry. So congratulations on maybe some good luck over a few years. But at this moment, your team is the team that has the most derailments in the last 3 months.
Facts. Merkley, not buying it. Great. Now, I love it though. Straight up, like, oh no, we've never been safer. What are you talking about? We're very, very, very safe. No, really, is that the case? No. Let's look at the amount of derailments from this company alone compared to the rest of the industry. Oops. Weird. They seem to have a lot more than the entire industry. Straight up lying. Look, they're the worst out of everyone. And by the way, you also saw every other company also having a lot more derailments. Now, ironically, a Norfolk Southern train had derailed in Calhoun County, Alabama, 3 hours prior to that hearing. Our company, we're so safe, though. We're so safe. We're doing way better than ever before. I don't understand what you're talking about. No, see, here's the thing. When you look at the profits, which have gone up, obviously, because shares have gone up, stock buybacks have gone up. You have to have profits to do your stock buybacks, right? Well, in that time where the profits and the stock buybacks have gone up, and the executive compensation and dividends have all gone up, derailments have also gone up. Now, look, there are cases where causation does not equal correlation. Okay? In this case, no, there is definite correlation here. The reason that this company became so profitable is because they made their trains less safe because it was cheaper. They cut their workforce. Less people manning these trains. Again, that reduced the safety. According to the Railroad Workers Union, Railroad Workers United and others, the industry led deregulation, which again culminated in the removal of the ECS brake rule. During the Trump administration, the lobbyists just poured cash all over politicians, maybe in a literal sense. I mean, I could imagine a gigantic swimming pool where they're just dumping barrels of money all over these politicians. They're swimming in it like Scrooge frickin' McDuck. Whether that happened or not, the whole point is they've been drawing money by lobbyists. And they did whatever the lobbyists told them to do, which is deregulate the industry and to make sure that these companies did not have to upgrade their Civil War era braking systems. And didn't have to have safety inspections as many. Didn't have to have special rules for trains carrying toxic chemicals like what happened in East Palestine. And allowed them to use policies like precision scheduled railroading, which has made the rail system more dangerous. You have less workers, longer trains. And look, Norfolk Southern slashed their workforce by nearly 40% in a 6-year period. That's why they can't do paid leave. No, they're short-staffed. And they're so short-staffed that, they're not, that if anybody were to use their time off when they get sick, because that's what humans do. Humans get sick and they need some time off to recover. There wouldn't be anyone there if people did that, actually took advantage of that time to run the trains. This is not an issue where, nobody wants to work. No, it was because these train companies didn't want to hire more people. Because if they hire more staff to run their increasingly longer trains, they make less money. Now, only recently, because the focus has been on Norfolk Southern, were they actually forced to hire a few more people, doing the bare minimum, and of course giving 3,000 of their workers paid leave. They were only forced to do that because of the bad PR. But as long as we have an industry that still has things like precision scheduled railroading, which Wall Street loves, well, that's still going to put towns all over the country in danger of having to deal with the derailment involving these toxic chemicals and other things. And that's why Shaw refused when asked. This is when Bernie Sanders asked him, will you make a commitment right now to the American people that you will lead the industry in ending this disastrous precision scheduled railroading? And again, refused to answer. Look, I think it should be pretty obvious to anyone right now that this is why we need a government that puts down rules and regulations. It turns out regulations, not some evil thing to crush business. It's to set rules that are basically basic safety standards. That's it. That's it. Because when it's a choice between the safety and the profits, the companies will always choose the profit. Because somehow, a derailed train doesn't lose them a lot of money. Somehow. In fact, they lose less money than it would take to properly staff the trains, pay enough people to run them so that they don't derail. That is incredibly, an example of incredibly messed up incentives. That's our incentive structure in this country. Short-term profit over everything else. So this is why we need a government that is willing to actually regulate business. That's what we want. Again, nobody's asking for over-regulation or ridiculous, levels of regulation that really will harm business. No, this doesn't harm business at all. This actually helps them because there's less train derailments. But again, these lobbyists, CEOs, executives, all they care about is short-term gains, greed. And so that's why they'll never regulate themselves. No, we have to have a government that does regulate. And in order to get a government that does regulate, we have to get the money out of politics so that these lobbyists can't go in and pay our politicians to strip away the rules. We do that, we can solve some of the problems. Prevent stuff like this from happening again. Okay. All right. When Trump was in office, he said he wanted to abolish every single regulation the Obama administration put into place. Absolutely correct. And that's because he couldn't stand that a black person actually put in rules. Obama! The hatred and racism of that man has literally poisoned probably more than just East Palestine, Ohio. The results of his presidency, again, and a lot of his decisions that were just based on undoing everything that Obama had done just because of the fact that Obama had done it, has done just massive amounts of damage to this country. And I think we're going to end up dealing with it for a very, very, very long time. Okay. That's it for the show. All right. Let me get this off the screen, and then we'll read some super chats and thank some members. So we're going to go here to... Will I get paid for overtime? Ha! Ha, ha, ha. No. Only if you send in super chats. This belief that companies will self-regulate is the same myth, and the belief that of the economy will trickle down. Yeah, it's true. The only thing that's trickling down, well, it ain't money. That's for sure. Something else. Perhaps even something golden. But it ain't money. All right. So I know that was pretty gross. All right. Vertical Flats, thank you for becoming a member. Vertical Flat says, Virtus back again. Kick a Republican. Well, I'm not gonna, endorse violence or anything like that. But it was a good rhyme. Jonathan Leiter, thank you for gifting a membership. Gabby Mathis, thank you for gifting a membership. And Koru, thank you for gifting a membership as well. Jonathan Leiter quotes poem here, I believe. The Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tug. Oh my god, I can't say that. The Togiwood in purple as it came. Good week. Thanks, Chap. Wow. I am apparently terrible at literature right now. So, and at reading. Okay. Marty Darno, thank you for the very kind $2. Good safe weekend to all. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see if there's anything on Twitch here. Nothing new on Twitch. Facebook audience, thank you very much. Yes, the missus is doing better. Sorry about that yesterday, not being here, but better to be safe, right? Okay, so where am I reading from? I'm reading from I've got two monitors. Monitor here, monitor here. Because if they weren't over in here and here, they'd be in my face and you couldn't see it. So, okay. Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share the stream. Check out the videos. And, well, we'll see you back here on Monday. Love you all. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation.
There's some whores in this house. Wet ass keywords. I like my name tight. Tighten up my name. Sexual anarchy. Really? This direction is about to be.
Ass bitch.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
USA. USA.